The Europa League round of 16 is finally here, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for the first leg of the round of 16 games. In today's video I'm going to be predicting every single game in the first leg of the round of 16, and then next week I'll be uploading my predictions for the second leg of the round of 16 fixtures. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. Starting off with the first game, we have Qarabag FK against Bayer Leverkusen. Starting off with Qarabag, they are obviously a very underrated team, as no one really expected them to make it this far in the Europa League. But if we look at what they did against Braga in their round of 32 games, they were absolutely incredible. Braga were a very good team and they were playing in the Champions League, but in the first fixture of that matchup, Qarabag ended up winning 4-2. And in the second fixture, even though Braga did win 3-2, Qarabag still advanced on aggregate. And although we cannot disrespect how good Qarabag has been in this competition so far, Bayer Leverkusen are one of the most informed teams, if not the most informed team in the whole world right now. So far this season, Bayer Leverkusen have 0 losses in all competitions. They still haven't lost this season. In the Bundesliga, in the DFB Pokal, in the Europa League, they are one of the best teams in every single one of those competitions. Again, we cannot disrespect Qarabag because so far this competition, they have been very, very good. But Bayer Leverkusen are clearly the better team, and I do think they will win this game 3-1. Moving on to the next fixture, and I think that this is probably the most anticipated fixture in this round of 16, and it is AS Roma against Brighton. This is going to be a very tough game for both teams because I feel like both teams have been going through a little bit of controversy so far this season, and I think they will both have a very hard time against one another in this fixture. But if we look at which team has been on better current form, I do think Roma in recent weeks have been clearly the better team. Obviously last season Brighton had an incredible season, which is what brought them to this competition to begin with. And in the group stages, we saw them play some incredible games against Marseille and even against Ajax. But in the Premier League in recent weeks, they have really been struggling. Since Mourinho was sacked from Roma and they hired Daniele De Rossi, they have won 8 out of their last 10 fixtures in all competitions. They have been playing incredibly under De Rossi. And in this game against Brighton, it will be the clash of the two great Italian managers, but I do think De Rossi will win in this matchup. Obviously, they are playing in the Stadio Olimpico in Rome, and this is a very, very hard stadium to come to and win. So for that reason, I do think Roma will win this game, and I think the score will be 2-0. Moving into the next matchup, we have Sparta Prague against Liverpool. Sparta Prague are obviously a very good team. They play in the Czech Republic, and they are currently first place in their league table. But they're coming up against Liverpool, who are one of the best teams in the world. They're first place in the Premier League. And I do think in this matchup, Liverpool definitely have the advantage. Obviously, even though the game is being played in Czech Republic, I think Liverpool, especially in recent weeks, have had so much momentum with the manager, with their squad, and even though they've been going through a lot of injuries, we've seen so many young players come into this lineup and perform brilliantly. And for that reason, even though Liverpool are playing away in this matchup, I still think they will get the win. Obviously, we have seen them slip up a couple times so far in this Europa League, but against Sparta Prague, yes, I'm not underestimating them, but I think Liverpool are clearly the better team, and therefore I think Liverpool will win this game 3-1. The next fixture we got is another very entertaining fixture, AC Milan against Slavia Prague. AC Milan are coming up against the other team from Prague, and if we go back into the group stages, Slavia Prague finished first place in their group ahead of Roma, so they are not an easy team whatsoever. They are a very good team, and I think this will be a very tough matchup for AC Milan. In saying this, obviously AC Milan are playing at home, which is a very, very big advantage because if we know anything about the San Siro throughout history, it has been one of the greatest stadiums in the world of football. AC Milan are on pretty good form recently. They currently sit 3rd place in the Serie A, and they did win in their last game against Lazio. And although it was a pretty ugly game, they still did get that good result to boost their confidence coming into this game. I'm not underestimating Slavia Prague because I think they are an incredible team and a very underrated team. I saw what they did against Roma and some of the other teams in the group stages, and for that reason, I don't think this is going to be an easy game for AC Milan. But with the home advantage, I do see them coming away with the win. But but I think it will be a very, very close game, and I think AC Milan will win 2-1. Moving into the next game, we have Benfica against Rangers. Honestly, I think Benfica have been so disappointing so far in these European competitions. In the Champions League, I predicted them to be second favorites to make it out of their group, when in reality, they played horribly in almost every single game they played, and they were like 1 point away from finishing last place in their group. And even in the Europa League so far, where they were versing against Toulouse, they played very, very poorly, and Toulouse could have easily made it through into the round of 16. Although Benfica are playing very good in the Liga Portugal, so far in European competitions this season, they have not looked good. Rangers, on the other hand, are obviously first place in the Scottish Premiership, and so far in this Europa League, in the group stages, they also finished in first place. So they have been on very, very good form recently, and I think this will be a very, very tough game for Benfica. Obviously, Benfica are the favorites in this matchup, but coming off of a few really bad results in the Liga Portugal, where they lost 5-0 against FC Porto, and they also lost 2-1 against Sporting, I don't think they're going to be able to win this game. Yes, I think Benfica's bad European drought will continue in this game, and although they are playing at home and they do have the advantage, I think this game will end in a 1-1 draw. Moving on to the next game, we have Freiburg against West Ham. Freiburg have been very, very inconsistent so far this season. In their recent Europa League fixture against Lens, they ended up winning 3-2 to advance into the round of 16. And even in their recent Bundesliga fixture, they draw 2-2 against Bayern Munich. But also this season, we've seen them lose to some of the worst Bundesliga sides. So that inconsistency makes it very, very tough to predict how they will play in this matchup. But on the other hand, in West Ham's recent fixtures, they have also been very, very inconsistent, where we've seen them lose to Arsenal 6-0 and even Manchester United 3-0. But in recent weeks, they have beat Brentford 4-2, and they even recently beat Everton 3-1. So this game is very, very tough to predict in my opinion. Obviously, West Ham are probably the favorites as they do play in the Premier League and they sit in a higher league position than that of Freiburg. But since Freiburg are playing at home in this matchup, I actually think they might be able to get a point out of this game. I think it's going to be a very, very close matchup, similar to the Benfica vs Rangers game. I do think this game will end in a draw, but I think the scoreline will be 2-2. And finally, the last match in the round of 16 is Marseille against Villarreal. I think this is going to be a very, very close matchup because both of these teams have a lot of history in this competition. We've seen Marseille play in the Europa League many, many times in recent years, and same with Villarreal, and they actually won the Europa League a few years ago. But who do I think is going to win this matchup? Honestly, it's going to be very, very close. If you look at both of these teams' form in their domestic league, they have both been on very, very good form, and they actually both won their recent game 5-1. Obviously, Marseille do have the home advantage in this game, and I think that is a big, big advantage, especially in the Europa League, where the Marseille fans are very, very passionate. But I do think Villarreal are still probably favorites in this matchup, mainly because of their history in this competition. But also, they're just one of those teams that you cannot write off. They are always going to perform well, whether they're playing at home or away, in the group stages, in the final. They are always a team that you have to take very seriously. Because of both of these teams' recent forms, I do think this will be a very high scoring match. But with the home advantage, I do think Marseille will just get the win over Villarreal, and I think they will win 3-2. And that is the end of this video. These are my predictions for the first leg of the Europa League round of 16. If you guys want to see my predictions for the second leg, that video will be out next week, just a few days before the second leg games are played on Thursday. Obviously, if you agree with my predictions, let me know in the comments down below. But if you disagree with my predictions and you think there might be a few upsets here and there, again, let me know in the comments down below. And obviously, if you did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos.